If you watch the stream, which is just gone live at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, by searching and subscribing to the Fan Upstate on YouTube or the Rob Brown Show on Twitter, you're going to see the old neck roll a lot of times today, Lonzo, and it's because if I don't do that, for some reason I slept so badly that my neck hurts so much that it's starting to give me headaches if I don't I don't know, dude. Getting old sucks. It is just the worst. It's just the worst thing.
You need some of that Kinzalum tape.
Some what?
Some Kinzalum tape. I know it starts with a K.
Kinetic tape.
I don't know.
Kinetic tape.
I don't know.
Some Darby Allin tape.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I don't get it.
Or some MJF tape. He's got it on his neck right now. So, I mean, you know.
We got a day lined up, ladies and gentlemen, because, and I don't know if you knew this or not, and I can tell you that Lonzo and I are matching unintentionally on the stream today. I rocking the red and white hockey jersey today. On the flip side, Lonzo, of course, has broken out the Patrick Mahomes number 15 wrap. And, of course, he's got the headband, the KC Chiefs Arrowhead headband going on today. And why, oh, why, Lonzo, have you been wearing Kansas City Chiefs gear all week? And why have you decided to break out the Super Bowl MVP's jersey today?
Why, that would be because tonight the Chiefs play the Detroit Lions opening night for the NFL. And you know where you can hear that at, Rob?
I believe, and I could be mistaken, though I'm usually not, Lonzo, I believe you'll be able to hear that game in its entirety right here and only on the Fan Upstate, if I'm correct.
Starting at 7:30 tonight, so make sure you check it out.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Not only is football back, but because we love you so very, very much, and we understand that not everybody is necessarily able to be in front of their television tonight when the Chiefs kick off the season live.
Some of you may have to work. I mean, some of you might have to work, and you throw the old earbuds in, and
some of you may indeed be obligated to appease the man and are forced to be at work this Thursday night tonight while the rest of us are all comfortably on the couch in front of our big screen TVs. Some of you may have to work. And if that is you, friends, do I have good news for you? You just clicking on over to the Fan Upstate at 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg on the Odyssey app. And what are you going to hear, ladies and gentlemen? You are going to hear NFL football live, pregame, postgame, and the game in between.
So now we can, it was football season, but now it's really football season because we got high school, we got college, we got NFL, we've got all of the footballs are back.
I walked outside about 20 minutes ago. to go take the pupper outside before we get the show started. She's got her needs too, so we took the puppy outside and I walked outside. It's football-y outside, Lonzo. It is very, very football-y outside. And
I'm sure you're going to be grateful for that football-y feeling in the evening, like tomorrow night when who's Burns play?
The Burns Rebels are on the road for the third time in 4 games when they travel to Greer to take on the Yellow Jackets.
Wait, where are they going?
School.
Where are they going?
Greer?
No, Greer.
Greer?
Greer.
Going to Greer.
Going to Greer. Man, you've been here 3 years. You don't know. It's Greer.
Keegan said
actually, you've been here like 4 years.
Degrees. Don't even try and sell me on that. It was not when I went outside. It was like 73 when I don't know where you live, Keegan. I mean, I know exactly where you live, Keegan, but I don't know where you live, Keegan. It was 73 when I walked outside.
I can report deep in the woods of Lawrence County that, there amongst the trees, it was a little cool this morning. I mean, and it will be in the evening. I did see something amazing, and I'm a little worried about it. The crows and squirrels were down on the ground talking to each other. So I think there might be something going on that I may need to worry about. You know, when there's a crow squirrel conference.
Do you know what they call a group of crows? It's not a flock.
It's a murder of crows. I know from when the time I was doing Upstate Pulse by myself and the birds surrounded my car. Yes, some people told me about it being a murder of crows.
As they should. As they should.
These, by the way, crows are like a foot tall. I mean, these are huge crows. And the squirrels already have it out for me, so now I'm worried. I thought the crows were my friends, but I should know the birds are not. Whether they're real or not, they're not my friends.
That's what you get for living on a compound, Lonzo. You've made a decision. You live with the consequences.
By the way, this really happened, and that's why I'm saying this live on the air. So if something happens to me, that you know, it was the crows and squirrels.
Noted. Lonzo, the opposite of a Disney princess, is what I'm getting here.
Except for the hair is just as pretty as what jersey are you wearing today?
My grown-up jersey.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. Look at that. By the way, you could see what jersey he's wearing and what jersey I'm wearing by going to Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and the X, yo.
Twitter. It's you go to twitter.com/thefanupstate and you can. We today are going to have some fun on the show because it is officially, in every definition of the word, NFL season, friends. Because tonight, whoa, the Detroit Lions are on the road as they travel to Arrowhead Stadium to take on the great ones, beloved Kansas City Chiefs, in a showdown of teams with nothing but high hopes. Of course, Kansas City, once again, the front runner to be your reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions back to back. And on the flip side, Detroit hoping to win. Somebody put this on Twitter the other day, and I went to verify it, and it turns out it's true. Lonzo, John F. Kennedy has not missed a Detroit Lions playoff win.
That's kind of messed up, man.
I don't tell you, it's true.
Yeah.
John F. Kennedy has not missed a Detroit Lions playoff win. Okay, that is ridiculous.
I know. Right? I should know the exact date because an American president was in the '60s, right? You don't know either, so you're looking it up. Okay,
yeah, 1963. I wanted to make sure I got the year right. Hey, I was going to say 62, but
by the way, not even I was born then. So,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, so yeah.
Yeah, and
that's a long time.
And who pays that much attention to that kind of history? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I should. I feel like an idiot, and I'm looking for anything to
it's
off the hook.
It's a sign of age also that first you got to switch out pillows and it hurt yourself, and then you can't remember dates.
Dude, it really does. My neck hurts so bad that it's given me a headache. It sucks. It's the worst. My neck hurts so bad it gave me a headache. Do you understand
you know what?
that no. Yeah,
I want to be around when the old man voice happens to you, because it may have already happened to me. I don't know, but I think the old man voice for you is going to happen. I think this is you're gonna wake up one morning and you're gonna sound like old man. It's gonna be great.
Thanks, Alonzo.
Well, I hope to be around for
that. Thanks for putting that curse on me.
Well, it'll probably be like 15 years. I'm not going to be here in 15 years. I mean, I'm going to be alive. Yes, I'm going to be alive. But 15 years, I don't know.
On today's show, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hop around said National Football League. First off,
didn't you say jump around? Jump around.
We will jump around the National Football League. We are going to give you some of our divisional winners and some of our divisional losers today. We will start in the very next segment. Where else would we, my friends, start but outside, or I should say inside the own house? How about the NFC South? We will, in the next segment, give you our NFL South divisional projections. New Orleans, Carolina, Atlanta, Tampa Bay. What order do they finish in? What order do they come down the pipe? We will tell you in the next segment. Then at 9:40, we'll, of course, be joined by Rashad Beard, international spy and host of the Panther Nation podcast. Then at 10 o'clock.
I got the song for him today. You'll see.
Okay, I'm excited about it.
It's not that stuff that you were talking about. Oh, I haven't done that one yet.
Then at 10 o'clock, we'll take a look at the AFC and NFC East. And then at 10:20, we'll be joined by Emily Adams of the Greenville News. She covers the South Carolina Gamecocks. We'll talk to Emily at 10:20. At 10:40, we'll take a look at the AFC and NFC West. At 11 o'clock, we'll continue looking at divisions. Then at 11:20, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. It's time for Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. And I'm going to make sure that Lonzo makes sure that I make sure that we go to our first break on time there because we have had, without Lonzo being here last week, what if we had, Lonzo, I believe, 4 pay-per-views since the last time we did Fight Club? AEW's had 2. WWE's had 2.
No, I think it's 3. No, you could be right. It could be 4.
Yeah, because we had Payback. Didn't NXT throw down 1 over the last 2 weeks?
What's that? No, maybe. Dude, it's been 2 weeks. And then plus
2 weeks. And plus we're the age that sleeping on a different pillow murders us.
Yeah, and I've basically worked 2 weeks already. On Thursday, so I don't even know what day it is. Yeah, I do know what day it is. Yeah, Keegan's right. Premium live events. I mean, correct yourself, dude. I mean, come on. There've been 2 pay-per-views and like several premium live events.
If you wanted to watch the AEW show, let's say hypothetically you wanted to
AEW, you got to pay money for. The premium live events, you're already paying a subscription, so you kind of get those for free.
No, you don't. They are paid for by a subscription fee. They
it depends. No. Here's the thing.
Don't pay, and can you view?
No. Well, some people can. Here's what you do: is this is my opinion, of course. If you watch one movie, then that's already paid for as a subscription. So everything after that is free. So that's why the premium live events are free.
I'm calling it what I'm calling it, Vince. Get over it. All right. So let's run to a break. When we come back here in just a minute, let us talk about the NFC South. I believe that there are 2 teams that can win this division. I believe there is one that is the favorite to do so, but is there any chance that somebody else might jump up and make something happen? We break down our season-long projections for the NFC South when we come back. Then Rashad Beard. Then we do the same for the the AFC South, the AFC East, and the NFC East. Then we talk to Emily Adams of the Greenville News. And then the show rolls on because it's Thursday. And we're just here to have a good time. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Rob Brown, the great one. Lonzo's on the 1s and 2s, and you, my friends, are listening to The Rob Brown Show. You are listening to the Fan Upstate.
Real sports talk, real sports fans.
The Fan Upstate.
You gotta say Gwr tonight.
The Upstate Fan. Call 844.
Tomorrow night. It's Thursday. Not Friday. Friday's tomorrow.
Friday is tomorrow.
All day.
From the News Talk 98.9 WORD Weather Center, here's the Carolinas' most trusted forecast on the Fan Upstate. Few scattered showers and storms possible late today. Blend of clouds and sunshine develops, high 91. Tonight, slight chance for storms early, a low near 67. Friday, chance for storms late, a high around.
Always a problem here, real world problems. So hair out the top or hair behind it. I prefer the hair out, but
give us a twirl, Lonzo.
All right,
give us a twirl.
I'm not twirling.
Give us a twirl.
Ugly truth about
okay.
timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor,
I feel like I'd have to see it both ways.
Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell.
I'm a bigger fan of hair over the top.
Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare.
So that's just me.
In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation.
Somebody screen cap that. Somebody screen grab that right now. Somebody screen grab it.
How much it's going to cost, Or when it's going to end.
Oh, yeah, that's
when
it.
You buy a
Nope,
timeshare,
that's it.
You give them a blank check.
Now I want to sing
any
"Give Me
amount
Something
they
to Believe in."
want for any
The first song that
The
popped in my
crazy
head.
thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your
think it's the
family's
same
now going to be
singer.
stuck with this burden. Stop the
Every
insanity
road
today. Call my
has
office
its
now.
thorn.
If we take you as a
Commercials are
client,
in the
I
stream.
guarantee
Great
we'll
one.
cancel.
Just like every night. Has
As
its
it
thorn.
dawn. Whoa.
I prefer to do it as the boot barn guy. Every
Just
road
like it.
has its thorn. That'd be a great spoken word album by the boot barn guy. I'd buy that, or I'd download it on Spotify.
You know, every rose has its thorn. All right, I gotta grab a water. Be right back. Timmy,
I don't know, James. How could I? How could I live here and then root for another team? I'm breaking someone's rules. But look at my hair. I'm a rule breaker. That's what I do. I should be a little more kind because I have to do double duties again today. Yeah, Roger, and this is going to sound mean, but I remember my vacations. So, I mean, Well, Keegan, glad I'm not that guy because, By the way, James, in all seriousness, the Panthers are my second team. In case you didn't know that, but because there's enough of me to have many fandoms. If you're a skinny person, you can't do that. Only sturdy people can have multiple teams. By the way, Jacob, also a Panther fan. So I'm a Panther fan from the NFC, Kansas City from the AFC. And I love Ohio State because that's where I'm from. You should never forget where you came from, even if it was hard where you were.
Even if your teachers chucked desk at you for
because that made you who you are today, whether that's good or bad. Oh, I love the picture of you staring over you right now. That's great, Rob. That's just awesome. That's the there he is picture. There he is. See, here's my thing. Be whatever fan you are. I mean, I am not going to criticize your fandom. Fandom, I think, is your own. If you want to be a fan of all 32 teams, go for it. I don't care.
Unless you're a bandwagon fan. I do not appreciate bandwagon fans.
Yeah, bandwagons,
Be better.
Fluid. Yeah. My fandom is fluid. What day is it?
Thursday. So therefore today.
Go Kansas City.
I am a fan of Carolina in that if the Panthers start winning, I will be paid more for it. So I'm always all in for that.
Well, I did make some money off the Panthers. So I mean, not this year, but last year I made some. Sorry, that's probably shouldn't have brought that up, but
So our buddy Alex Guest, the host of the Saturday Morning Scramble, Lonzo, is watching on the stream. Of course, you can listen to the Saturday Morning Scramble from 8 to 10 every Saturday morning as we talk all the high school football you can handle. So you get me doing Burns play-by-play on Friday night, and then you get Alex and some other guy named Cole on Saturday morning.
You don't want to listen to that guy. I mean, Alex is cool, man, but that Cole guy, I don't know. I don't know about him.
Well, you got to, every show's got to have the cool guy, you, and then the other guy who kind of brings the mood down every now and then, like me.
No, man. You bring the energy. I bring the cool. That's what makes us the number one sports show in the state of South Carolina, according to the
Twice.
South Carolina Broadcast Association.
Twice.
We're getting belts, man. I know we keep talking about it. If the NFL can have wrestling belts, you and we need belts.
We do need belts.
I mean, we need detachable plates on the side so we can add some more to it.
So
all I'm saying.
Alex is watching the stream, and during the break, Lonzo asked if he should go with the football-style helmet or hair under the headband, or the 1980s glam rock style with it out over the band. And he did a wonderful job screen capping you, but not when you had the band down over your face. And he said Lonzo moves too quickly. So you're getting compliments on your SEC speed today.
I am, as the kids say, elusive.
Let's talk, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk a little NFC South football, because the team that we cover the most is in that division. So that's why we're starting with it. All right, that's why we're taking off there. So this division is interesting to me, because you've got a division that was, let's call a spade, very bad last year. This division was ultimately won by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 9-8. Everybody else was 8-9, and frankly, probably very fortunate to be where they were. So this year, Tom Brady has moved on, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on who you are and how you feel about him. Tom Brady has moved on. The Buccaneers have gone with, of course, former Carolina Panther Baker Mayfield as their starting QB.
Wait. Tom Brady's gone?
Sure is.
He's gone?
Sure is.
He's gone. He's gone. He's got for real this time.
The bad man can't hurt you anymore, Lonzo.
For real this time.
The bad man can't hurt you anymore.
He keeps showing up on commercials that are slightly entertaining, though.
It turns out, dude's got some charisma. You don't have to like it.
Including trying out for the third member of the Manning cast,
Which was really funny, by the way.
Yeah, well,
Genuinely funny.
I forget the animal that was in there with him, but I would go with that animal.
So Brady is gone. Bake Show takes over as QB1 down in Tampa. Of course, you've got a new quarterback in New Orleans as former Las Vegas Raider turned soon to be first ballot NFL Hall of Famer Derek Carr is in New Orleans. You've got a new quarterback in Carolina as rookie Bryce Young has made his way over as the first overall draft pick that Carolina made moves to get. And, of course, the Atlanta Falcons have decided, for reasons that I cannot begin to even fathom, that Desmond Ridder is going to be their guy this year full-time after taking the job away last year from Marcus Mariota, or maybe Marcus Mariota took the job away from himself. That's up to you to decide.
Yeah, Marcus went home. So
Marcus Dunn took his ball and went home.
He went home.
He sure did.
He's now, where is he now? Philadelphia? I can't remember. He's a backup somewhere.
Yeah, which is, again, a good role for him. I never saw that guy being the guy in Atlanta. He had a few good weeks out of the gate that I thought I was going to have to send him like inedible arrangements or something as an apology note. And then he went back to being not that. So this division is full of new quarterbacks and quarterbacks that are very questionable. And I would say the only quarterback at this point who is established within the league is Derek Carr. Nope. And am I incorrect there, Zoe?
Nope.
Or did you just want to play Darby Allin on the show?
I always want to play our friend Darby Allin. Great interview with Darby, by the way, right here on, two-time award-winning best sports show in the state of South Carolina.
Sure are.
You have to pause there because gravitas. People don't use that word that much anymore. They used to. That was a word there for a while that everyone used. Established What do you mean by established? You mean he's been in the league for a while? Is that what you mean?
I mean, he's got experience at the NFL level in NFL situations.
So notable winner. Is that what you're saying? He won a lot where he used to be, right? And didn't get benched or anything like that. I'm asking questions. That's all I'm doing.
So Derek Carr is a guy that if you take last year off of the table.
Nope.
If you take last year off of the table, last year was without question the worst year that Derek Carr had with the Las Vegas Raiders dating back to 2015.
Poof.
In 2021,
Win his career.
In 2021, Derek Carr threw for 68.5% completion percentage for 4,800 yards. The year before that, 2020, 67.3% completion percentage, 4,100 yards, 27 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. The year before that, 70.4% completion percentage, over 4,000 yards. Before that, 69% completion percentage, over 4,000 yards. You have to go back to 2017 for the last year that Derek Carr did not hit the 4,000-yard mark or have a QBR that was below 94 overall. And I also want you to keep in mind the franchise that he was doing this with. He was doing this with the Las Vegas/Oakland Raiders. Now, last year they brought in Devontae, and that was the biggest wide receiver move that they had made in a long time. But outside of Devontae, I believe that offensively this team built squarely on the run game did not give Derek Carr a lot of help, and that is why the joke is that Derek Carr is not that great of a quarterback. This is not a guy. See, Chris just came in and said it's easy to stack stats with no run game really till last year on always having to play from behind. I don't think Derek Carr was stat stacking. I don't think you get to 4,800 yards and a 94 QBR or 4,100 yards and a 101.4 QBR or 4,054 yards and a 100 QBR just by stat stacking. That's you have to be a good quarterback to get to a QBR of over 100 and to do it multiple times in your career. That's not easy to do.
Listen, sometimes it's good to start over. We've all, or most of us, have had to do that at some point, start over. And that's what he's doing. And if you're going to start over somewhere in a division, this is the division to start over in. Because there's no Patrick Mahomes here. There's no Justin Herbert there. There's no the guy who plays in Denver. Yeah, so I mean, it's the best place to go if you want to start over. Because he came in to the NFC South and immediately was
the best quarterback in the division.
Was crowned the best quarterback in the division. And
he's not crowned. He is. That's what he is today. I'm not saying he will be that at the end of the year.
He may not even be that after Sunday, but I mean, for now, yeah. Well, it's like how everybody's undefeated till the first game. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I have some really bad news about Bryce Young in week 1. If that's the guy you're thinking is going to replace him, Adam Thielen was limited in practice yesterday with an ankle injury. DJ Chark did not practice yesterday with a back injury or with a hamstring injury. And TMJ did not practice, was limited in practice with a back injury. So the top 3 receivers for Bryce Young are all either not practicing or on limited snaps at practice right now due to injuries.
Well, it helps that Carolina is going to be a running team. So, I mean, it stinks that all those guys are out, but they're going to be a running team, so they'll be all right.
I mean, we are going to find out. And I'm not saying that at the end of the year, Bryce Young will not be the best quarterback in that division. I'm saying it is not going to emerge in the first few weeks. Unless that offensive line has just put something together, Carolina, I think, is going to take some time to really hit the groove that they are looking to hit.
Hey, do you feel that anger, that ire, that Lonzo just came at my team? Football's back. It's back.
No, see, this is the biggest problem in my entire radio career.
So wait. I know what you're going to do here, and you're the host. I'll back off. But New Orleans is your team, right?
They are my team.
It's okay. It's okay.
No,
I mean,
it's
it is
not.
okay.
It's not. And
it's absolutely all right.
Here's why. If I, in the NFL...
All right, so what I should do right now is be naked in the studio because I should not be a fan of my team that plays tonight. So I just should take everything off right now and go straight up naked in the studio because I'm showing my fandom.
First off, our stream numbers would go through the roof. All right, through the roof. If
Fabio effect is an amazing
the
thing.
Rob
We're not
Brown
doing
Show OnlyFans edition is going to be lit, ladies and gentlemen. When I talk about
You ever want to know what's behind the shirt?
When I talk about my team, yes, I'm a fan. But when I talk about this division on the radio, my fandom is turned off, and there's a very good reason for it. The reason is because I'm not going to create a situation where every time I say anything, I am slammed with a bunch of Rob. You only say that because you're a blank fan. All right?
but you are going to get that anyway.
Of course I am. But
I get from your perspective, you're trying not to do that, but you're going to get it. You absolutely are.
Let me be very clear about this. Yes, I do believe that the New Orleans Saints are the best team in the NFC South, and I do not think that is a bias. The New Orleans Saints have the shortest Vegas odds to win this division, and it is for a reason. If you ask 32 general managers right now who they would rather start week one, and I am saying just week one, Derek Carr or Bryce Young, the answer is going to be Derek Carr for 31 of them. The only one who's going to say BY is the guy with BY on the team. So I think because you have a veteran quarterback who's been here and done that, I am, again, not saying that he is going to be the number one quarterback in the division at the end of the year. I'm saying he is going to be the number one quarterback in the division when week one football kicks off on Sunday. And that is the reason that I am picking the Saints to win the NFC South.
I said that too. I mean, he's going to be coming into week one, and then we'll see after that. As far as established quarterbacks go, yes, he is probably the best. Although, I don't know, Baker Mayfield had a couple winning seasons in Cleveland, didn't he?
Yeah, and that I'm glad you said that because the reason I'm placing Tampa Bay I'm actually going to pick them last in this division. And it has nothing to do with Baker Mayfield. It has everything to do with their head coach, Todd Bowles. I to this day, cannot understand why it is that when Bruce Arians called it a career there in Tampa, for the life of me, I cannot understand why it was that the Buccaneers decided to allow Bruce Arians to handpick his own successor to the head coaching position. I will never understand why they decided that the guy who is leaving your program is the guy who should get to pick who leads it next. And he went with his DC Todd Bowles, who has done nothing as the head coach. Nothing as the head coach. I like Baker. Y'all, when Baker signed this contract, I wish that I would have called Baker Mayfield and said, Bake, I understand that you want one more shot at being an NFL starting quarterback. I understand that you want one more crack at being the man. I get it. And frankly, I think you are still good enough to be an NFL caliber starting quarterback. We've seen you do it everywhere you go, but you have been a victim of circumstance everywhere you have been. You were a victim of circumstance in Cleveland because that organization is run by a bunch of absolute nincompoops. You were a victim in Carolina because you got stuck with Matt Rule, an absolute nincompoop
One of us.
at your head coaching position. And now you've gone to Tampa, a team that, yeah, sure, they absolutely have maybe one of the better wide receiver cores in football if they're healthy, and Godwin and Evans and the rest of that crew. But my dude, their offense is their team is being run by a defensive coordinator who just don't get it, man. He just don't get it. And that's the guy that you're going to go try to revive your career as a starting quarterback under. Not your best move, bud. Not your best move. So I'm going to put Tampa in the NFC South in the 4th place position. I am going to put Atlanta 3rd. Listen, I like Bijan Robinson. I think Bijan has every tool necessary in the toolkit to be a very good quarterback. I think he has every tool necessary in the kit to Bijan Robinson to be a very good running back at the NFL level. He's absolutely a guy that can catch you out of the backfield. He's got a very nice power speed combo. I like this cat a lot, but if Desmond Ritter's your quarterback, I'm putting 7 in the box every time, and I'm coming downhill, and I'm not letting you get going. And I believe that both Carolina and Atlanta have enough dudes inside their front 7 to make that happen. So I'm going to go Tampa Bay in 4th place. I'm going to go Atlanta in 3rd place because of the lack of quarterback play. I am going to go Carolina checks in 2nd. And I am going to tell you, if there is a pick that I feel like I'm making with my head, with my heart, not my head, it's this one. I can't tell if Carolina genuinely can get there or if I'm being overly optimistic because I want them to succeed so that I can make more money this fall.
Well, hopefully there's someone who could make you more positive about the Panthers.
My goodness, who might that be? Great one.
The Super Spy that's coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rashad Beard is the host of the Panther Nation podcast, and he joins us to talk Carolina Panther football next, right here on The Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
You see.
Waiting on Rashad, which is why we have the wonky blue boxes in the back.
Why are we echoing?
I don't know.
Did you do something?
I didn't change anything. It's only you that I hear. Oh, no, I do hear me too.
Nah, well, it's yeah. I didn't. Oh, I know what it is. I had this. Ooh, that could be a problem.
What's that?
I had StreamYard and Q. But since it looks like someone's not here, it's not going to matter. I think we had this problem when we were on location also.
From the Ingalls Market Studio. The Fan.
State 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
From the CBS Sports Radio. Get in the game on the Rob Brown Show.
Only on the Fan. Upstate.
All right, waiting on Rashad Beard. Hopefully he will join us here very shortly, ladies and gentlemen, on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate while we wait for Rashad. And again, he may be in super secret spy training and just can't tell us. If he is, we'll see if we can get him on tomorrow morning to talk a little Carolina Panther football with us. But let's go ahead and start, and let's talk a little bit about this Week 1 game as the Panthers will open up the season with divisional play. They are on the road at Atlanta to take on the Dirty Birds on Sunday. And I am I don't know, Zoe. I'm intrigued by this game. I'm intrigued by this game for a couple of reasons. I am intrigued in this game primarily because of the Dirty Bird offense. I do not know what it is going to look like. I understand that Bijan Robinson is going to be getting a lot of snaps, a lot of PT, and he should. You don't bring in that guy even if you are going to make him number 2 on the depth chart, which I've seen a couple of different depth charts. I've seen some flipped where he is RB1. I've seen a few flipped where he is RB2 behind Tyler Allgeier. I got to think you make him number 1. Now, the problem with stopping the run when you are going as the Cats are going to with that 3-4 defense under Ejiro Evero this year is you got to have good linebacker play. The fortunate thing is the Carolina Panthers actually have built one of the better linebacker cores in the National Football League. But there is a problem right now. And that problem right now is that Brian Burns is not practicing at this point in time. And Brian Burns may elect to sit out of this game as he looks for another contract. Now, I thought that when they gave Bosa the new contract out in San Francisco, that would be the trigger to Brian Burns signing his contract. But
except for maybe Carolina went, oh, no. We were going to give you, but we don't want to give you that.
Yeah, because he signed for a lot of money. A lot of money. He is now the number 1 paid defensive player of all time is Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa, the highest paid contract for a defensive player in the history of the NFL. He passed Aaron Donald with the contract that San Francisco just gave him. And this is kind of interesting because Nick Bosa is obviously quite talented. Yeah, that's a very different guy.
Yeah.
Bosa is very, very talented, obviously. And I wonder if Brian Burns was thinking, whatever that guy gets, I should get as well. And on top of that, if you're Carolina, if Brian Burns is worth that much money to you, I mean, he's obviously a massively influential playmaker. He is arguably the most talented defensive player that you have on this football team. But if he wants Nick Bosa money, that's going to be a big-time hit on the Carolina Panthers salary cap, on their payroll. It just is. So I'm kind of now at this point wondering if it's going to get done. Can it get done? And if so, can it get done by Sunday? I don't necessarily have a lean as to whether or not Brian Burns will sit out of this game on Sunday, but I will tell you that if Brian Burns sits out of this game on Sunday, Carolina's going to be a justifiable dog, all right? They're just going to be a justifiable dog if your number one playmaker on defense is out against the team that is going to love to run it up the gut at you the entire time. Carolina opened on the spread as +2.5. Okay? +2.5. That line is now Carolina +3.5. All right? +3.5.
All right. Explain what that means. Does that mean they're predicting Carolina to win or to lose?
To lose. Okay. So on a gambling line, the plus means that you take the final score and you add that many points to it. And if that team would then win the game, they have beat the spread. So Carolina is +3.5, which means whatever the final score is, you add 3.5 points to the Carolina Panthers. And if that score would then win the game, then the Panthers have won the bet. So if the final score is Atlanta 24, Carolina 21, you would then add the 3.5 points to Carolina's score. That would bring them to a total of 24.5 points. That would be more than the Falcons' 24. That means they cover the spread, right? If the score is 24-20 in favor of Atlanta and Carolina has 20, and then you add the 3.5 points, the score is now 24 to 23.5. You have not covered the spread, therefore the bet would lose. And so what this means, the fact that this number opened at +2.5 and is now moved to +3.5, meaning they are giving Carolina one more point. It means that the betting public believes Atlanta is going to win this game and believe they are going to win by more than 2.5 points. And the fact that it jumped right past the +3, there are some teams that are 3-point favorites. The New Orleans Saints are -3 over the Tennessee Titans, which means whatever the final score is, you take 3 away from New Orleans or you give 3 to Tennessee to determine who has won that bet. It means that the betting favorites, the betting public, jumped all in on Atlanta at -2.5 because they believe the Falcons would win by more than that, and did so heavily that Vegas skipped past 3 and went full point all the way to 3.5. And my suspicion is there are two things at work right now that have made the Vegas odds makers decide to go all the way in that direction. I think one of the things is Brian Burns. Even if he does play on Sunday, he has missed a week of practice in the process. And I think the other thing is, as I told Lonzo back in the opening segment of the radio broadcast, Carolina has everybody hurt in the wide receiver room. Adam Thielen was limited in practice with a bummed out ankle, and we know that. We know that DJ Chark has missed time with a bum hamstring. We know that TMJ is missing time with a bum ankle right now, which means the Carolina Panthers could, depending on how all of this is played out and how they're manipulating their injury reports and all that, it is very, very possible that the Cats could come into this game missing 1, 2, or 3 of their top-tier wide receivers, and doing so in front of an offensive line that nearly got Bryce Young killed in the preseason. Carolina could very well be starting this season off 0-1, and we will address it further as we move on. I am Rob Brown, the great ones on the ones and twos. The Rob Brown Show's on the radio. This is the Fan Upstate.
Made for upstate sports junkies. You eat sports like food every day. Get hooked on the Rob Brown Show.
Now 9 to noon.
Upstate.
At Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So
Chris, I think there's a difference between betting off what you saw in the preseason if you're taking the scores into consideration. But if you're telling me you watched that Carolina Panther preseason offensive
I'm going to show you my 5 steps from
and are a little concerned
this one's
about what Carolina can do against a pretty good Atlanta
As a
pass
small business
rush.
owner, I know that filing for the ERC tax refund can feel complicated and confusing.
I'd like to know your
I like pizza and puppies.
Why.
There, done.
Because that's got
me
concerned.
Cold hard info. The ERC, or Employee Retention Credit,
and I think justifiably
is a tax credit for eligible businesses that kept employees on payroll in 2020 and 2021. So if you qualify, Innovation Refunds Network of Independent Tax Attorneys could help you claim it. Step 3, call to action. Go to innovationrefunds.com to get started. Step 4, the jingle I wrote myself. Actually, scratch that. Just go to innovationrefunds.com and call.
Well, you know, Mad Chatter, that's what we do around here, man. You got to hit all the big topics. By the way, the Mad Chatter is just such a great online name. Be right back.
Got to say the jersey shorts combo.
Yeah, man.
Definitely rocking the looking like somebody else who's famous just a little bit.
Oh, as soon as I put it on, I'm like, oh, I look like Kev.
Kevin Smith.
Yep. No, I do not think that. I think Miles Sanders can be on his best day, Mike. I think he can on his best day be a game changer. I do not think Chuba Hubbard is. I think he's a very solid third down option, third and short option. But it's 100%. It's on Bryce. It is 100% on Bryce.
So it's pretty cool that AEW has these guys back. And as a wrestler myself, you feel safe growing in this company. You feel safe being around for a long time because you know you're always going to be treated with respect. Learning from these guys is like an awesome thing.
That's funny, Zach.
That would be the Vatican, correct?
No. I actually do have a question, Rob, because Zach brings up as long as you don't cry after every superhero movie you watch, like like the other guy does. Have you ever cried after a superhero movie or during? I mean, Tony Stark dying was kind of rough.
That was spoiler alert, Lonzo. Jeez. I'm not gonna lie. Guardians 3 had me messed it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Guardians 3 had me messed it up a little bit.
Gable's in the first break, by the way.
10-4.
Yeah, the question is, are they who we thought they were from the preseason? We'll find out the first couple weeks.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. Hour number 2 starts right now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Yeah. It is good to be here, my friends. I am Rob Brown, that guy on the other side of the glass, metaphorically speaking, for me on the other side of the internet, is, of course, the great one, Lonzo. Glad to have you guys along for the ride. I want to get here into a couple of other divisions as the NFL officially gets its kickoff this evening when the Detroit Lions travel to Arrowhead Stadium to take on Lonzo's beloved Kansas City Chiefs. And I want to keep going and picking division winners over the course of the show. But before we get there, a couple of things that we need to address. Number one, we have got a few comments on the live stream comment thread, which you can join at facebook.com/thefanupstate, twitter.com/thefanupstate, or subscribing to the Fan Upstate on YouTube or the Rob Brown Show on Twitch. But I also have to.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Yes, indeed you are, Zoe, because I have given you my projected order of finish in the NFC South. I am going Tampa Bay to bring up the rear, then Atlanta, then Carolina, then New Orleans, and I would not be shocked to see the 2 and the 3 teams flip around and see Carolina third, Atlanta second, New Orleans first. But Zoe, your pick, your order of finish for the NFC South.
All right. It's really hard to pick this division. Absolutely difficult. And, my heart, I want to put the Panthers first, but I can't do that. All the joking aside about Derek Carr, he is probably, at least for now, and maybe by the end of the season, the best quarterback in the NFC South. I think that accounts for a whole lot. And I think the offensive line problems we saw for the Panthers in preseason is definitely a red flag, and I'm definitely concerned about that. Now, we saw that they were able to shore that up probably mid-season of last year, so they shouldn't be having that problem this year. But they seem to be having it in preseason, and with the injuries and everything, I don't want to, just because it will make Rob smile. I'm going to go with New Orleans first. See, there it is. I'm going to go New Orleans first. I am going to go Panthers second. I am going to go with Tampa Bay third and Atlanta fourth.
Tampa Bay third, Atlanta fourth.
And here's the thing with the NFC South, at least it has been in years past, when they were good or when they were bad, it's really hard to predict who's going to win that division, because you think you got it down and then somebody else steps up. Or like last year when no one wanted to win it. Anybody can win this division. But right now, I think New Orleans has the edge.
I don't think it's unfair. I do think that New Orleans has the edge. I do think that New Orleans is the better team. I think that the establishment at the quarterback position is the number one reason that I would put them there. And I agree as far as the struggles of the offensive line across the preseason for Carolina being a problem, because the other aspect of it is the defensive lines across this division are overall pretty good. Atlanta's defensive line is pretty good. Tampa's defensive line is pretty good. You have to come into this with a strong offensive line to give yourself a shot. And I would say right now, and again, it is preseason. And one of our texters earlier, one of our commenters on the stream earlier, said something to the tune of, if you are betting the regular season based on what you saw in the preseason, I wish you the best of luck. And I get that, but I think there is a difference between, that team went 4-0 in the preseason, so therefore I'm going to bet them across the money line all season long, versus betting based on the things you saw in the preseason. And I think we saw some things out of the Panthers in the preseason that led to some concern, that offensive line probably being the primary one. Now, we did not see what they're going to look like in front of Miles Sanders, who is the best running back on that roster. Does that change the way that defenses act toward the Cats? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, but we won't have to wait long, friends, because that game is on Sunday. Let's jump over. Great one. We don't have to spend a ton of time on this one, but let's talk about the AFC South real quick. Of course, the Texans, they've got themselves a new young rookie quarterback, as well as CJ Stroud was officially named their Week 1 starter in Week 3 of the preseason. They have Nico Brown on the outside as their primary wide receiver. You got the Colts with a new rookie wide receiver in Anthony Richardson, the young man out of Florida. The Titans rolling with the vettiest vet in this division as they go with Ryan Tannehill. But hey, Derrick Henry is back. Derrick Henry is healthy. And remember, the Titans added DeAndre on the outside as their WR1. And then, of course, in that division, you have the Jacksonville Tigers. The Jags, led, of course, by former Clemson QB Trevor Lawrence and former Clemson running back Travis Etienne. This division has two teams in it, the Jaguars and the Titans. The Texans and the Colts are going to be fighting to accomplish something this year. I know that there is, at the highest level, not as much confidence in Anthony Richardson as there is CJ Stroud, though I will tell you, I honestly think Anthony Richardson arguably had the better preseason and the better lead up to the beginning of the NFL regular season. Not to bring up the rear of this division. I love what DeMeco Ryan is doing as a head coach. It seems to be the most spirited the Texans have been in a couple of years. And as far as the Colts go, especially with Jonathan Taylor missing 4 weeks due to an injury and going on the PUP list, there are rumors out there and reason to believe them that Jonathan Taylor is not so much on the PUP list because of an injury that he's genuinely dealing with to that ankle, but that the Colts are basically giving him some time to cool off, some time to not get paid and to cool off and stop with the trade demands. I am going to go, great one, in 4th place in the AFC South. Give me Indy. I just think Jim Irsay has created too much chaos in that locker room to be successful. In 3rd place in this division, give me the Houston Texans. I like what DeMeco Ryans is doing, and I do think that despite this roster being one of the worst in the league, I kind of think CJ Stroud might start to put it together about midway through the season. And then give me in the 2 spot, I am going to take the Tennessee Titans. I like Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel has been a wonderful coach. His record as an underdog is one of the best amongst active NFL coaches right now. And the Titans feel like, because of the Jags, that they are coming into the season as underdogs. And on my roster, they are, because I am going to take the Jacksonville Jaguars to win the AFC South. I think that this is Trevor Lawrence's coming out party. Last year was very good. I think this year is going to be better. They had Calvin Ridley back into the mix after his suspension for gambling on the league. I think he is still capable of doing breakout numbers. I think now that there is some familiarity, I think now that the chemistry is built over the last year with Doug Peterson, a guy who is known for his ability to not just build an offense around a quarterback, but to orchestrate that offense around a quarterback, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a stud. I think at the end of this year, he is going to have his name mentioned up there with Justin Herbert as one of the best in the game right now. I am going to go Indy 4, Houston 3, Tennessee 2, Jacksonville 1 across the AFC South. Great one.
All right. So for me, and this is going to be hard because I want CJ Stroud to do well. I really do, but I think there's too many things around him that are not good. I'm not saying he's going to have a horrible year, but he's not going to win a whole lot. So I'm going with Texans in last place. Colts, Richardson could surprise some people. He absolutely could. Despite coaching and everything else and all the turmoil, he could surprise people by, there was a lot of hype around him during preseason. So I'm going with the Colts in third place. I'm going with the Jags in second place. And I get all the hype. They did really well last year. They surprised some people. They're not going to surprise anybody this year. I think they probably stay about where they were last year. But I got to go with the guys who are winning this division almost every year, and that would be the Titans. I trust him, Vrabel, and what he's able to do, and he's gotten him in the playoffs so many times, and I think he's going to do it again this year. So I'm going to go with the Titans for first in the division.
I do not have any issue with that pick, to be honest with you. I don't have any issue with that pick. I don't have any issue with anybody picking the Titans to win this division. I think a lot of it is going to hang on to whether or not Derrick Henry is back to being that dude, right? I think if Derrick Henry is healthy this year, that Derrick Henry can be that game changer that he was when he was in his prime. I absolutely think that there is something to be said for that. So I don't have any problem with anybody picking Tennessee to be the winners of the AFC South. And by the way, I like the pick of the Colts at number 3 based on Anthony Richardson. When we were going up to and through the draft, it was brought up many times, and I think justifiably so, that of the rookie quarterbacks this year, Lonzo, Anthony Richardson is the most physically gifted. He is more physically gifted than Bryce Young. He is more physically gifted than CJ Stroud. The problem was up top. The problem was decision-making. The problem was making the right throws accurately. If Anthony Richardson spent some time with a QB guru who was able to get him out of his headspace where he would get a little overexcited and start making questionable decisions while playing the game of football, Anthony Richardson could absolutely be a shockingly good quarterback at the NFL level. He is, of all of the drafted quarterbacks this year, the most prototypical as far as an NFL build goes. It was just always going to be about, can this guy get his head screwed on straight? And if the answer is yes, he's going to be dangerous.
To me, he just reminds me of a young Cam Newton, and that's can be good and bad. Look at what Cam did his first year, and he tore up the record books his first year. And if he can do what Cam Newton did, great. But will he have to deal with Cam Newton rules? If he takes off, will he be allowed to be hit a little bit more because he is one of the bigger quarterbacks out of all the guys that were drafted this year? But less expectations can lead to some victories that people didn't see happening because they're underestimating them because of the whole mess that was last year for the Colts.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And listen, I think that I do think that the NFL this year is, well, the last couple of years is getting to the point where watching the backs of their quarterbacks, making sure that their guys aren't out there getting absolutely rocked, has become more and more important. And so I think guys with a play style like Anthony Richardson are probably safer in the league than they would have been in years gone by, because the reality is, we don't have to like it, but we're all guilty. When teams don't have star quarterbacks available, we don't watch them, right? The games that Baltimore plays without Lamar Jackson are some of their lowest watched games at all. And so the NFL has been working on protecting star quarterbacks, and there's no doubt that even if he turns out not to be one, Anthony Richardson is going to be treated like one. And I think that goes a long way. All right, let's do one more before we run out to a break here. Let's go, Zoe. I don't know. Let's go with the NFC West. Let's go with the NFC West, the Cardinals, the Rams, the 49ers, and the Seahawks. This team this division, Lonzo, is going to produce the worst team in the National Football League. But the interesting thing about it is there are two candidates out of this division that could end up being that team. The Arizona Cardinals, who have done absolutely nothing to get better. In fact, they've done everything to get progressively worse, will be in that discussion.
Yeah, and that quarterback isn't even playing, right? From what I've seen, he's not playing.
My understanding is that Kyler Murray is going to be seated for some length of time. I also believe, I know, I also know that Colt McCoy has been let go. Kyler Murray is on the PUP list for the start of this season. They let Colt McCoy go, the only backup quarterback that they had with any level of NFL experience. And so they are not going to name a starter. But here, let's play a fun edition of the Rob Brown Show, home edition. Lonzo, Kyler Murray is on the PUP list. Colt McCoy has been released, part of the post-training camp cuts for the Arizona Cardinals. Can you name me, for a donut, any other quarterback on this roster right now?
Yeah, because I had already seen who that they are starting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
so
then,
I mean,
never mind.
Yeah, I just and we got donuts coming next week thanks to Steven. So you don't have to give me a donut.
Not thanks to Steven. Thanks to me.
Okay. Thanks to you losing. Okay.
No, I won. That's why we're getting donuts,
okay.
buddy.
Oh, are you willing to give up the bacon donut though? Because I
won the bet. I get first draft to pick up the donuts.
I didn't get to try the bacon donut last time.
I'll let you have a half of it.
Can I have a nibble? Can I just have a nibble?
I'll do better than a nibble. You can have half because I am a giver. Ladies and gentlemen.
All right. You enjoyed it so much. I'm not going to do that to you. By the way, Josh Dobbs is a starter for.
Oh, did they announce that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because they're. By the way, did you?
All right. I thought they announced it. Now I'm seeing expected to start.
Yeah. The expectation is that Joshua Dobbs will get the start. They do have David Bloch, and they do have Clayton Tune, both on the team as quarterbacks.
Oh man, Clayton's my guy. You got to go with Clayton. Anyone with the name Clayton. I mean, what a name that is. That's an awesome name.
The Arizona quarterbacks room, Lonzo, is made up of guys that the computer generates for you when you create a franchise in Madden. You know what I mean? Like when you start it up and it's like, all right, these players have been assigned to your expansion team. David Bloch and Clayton Tune are your quarterbacks. You're like, uh-oh. And that's literally where they are. Josh Dobbs likely going to be the starter. We'll find out. By the way, did you see the video?
Has he started for every team yet?
Josh Dobbs?
Yeah.
I think he's got like 3 to go.
Okay. All right.
I think he's got like 3 to go. Have you seen the video of Arizona's head coach, their new head coach, in front of his team for the first day of preseason? I'll send it to you during the break to pull the audio from because the Cardinals might not win a game this year. I'm dead serious. They might not win a game.
Even if they were playing at their best, they're not going to win this division. I think we all know who's going to do it, and I'd be shocked if you don't pick a certain team number one.
Well, then let's just jump right into it. I am going to go with the Arizona Cardinals bring up the rear of this division. They're going to be atrocious this year, and just barely ahead of them will be the LA Rams. Has there been, there may have, and I just can't remember it off the top of my head, but Zoe, has there been a bigger fall from grace after a Super Bowl? Has there been a worse Super Bowl hangover than what the LA Rams are doing right now?
Well, you bring a quarterback in who was much maligned, and he's able to win a Super Bowl, and then he got old really fast and hurt. No, it's a pretty big drop.
It's a pretty big drop for the LA Rams. I'll take them third. Give me Seattle in second. And I listen, I hate to do it because I don't like going chalk. I don't want to go chalk. I want to try to pick somebody that might surprise some people when I'm putting some change down on them. But the San Francisco 49ers are going to win this division, Lonzo, and they're going to win it by 3 games.
Hey, it's highest paid roster or whatever. I mean, they've got a bunch of guys on there who are making a bunch of noise and money. Bosa getting paid. We got Christian McCaffrey on there. Will Purdy be ready? And if not, can the backup quarterback win with them? A backup quarterback who was a starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers last year.
Sam Darnold waiting in the wings. Look out, Brock Purdy. I'm going to go Cardinals, Rams, Seahawks, Niners.
If Darnold was there last year in San Francisco, they go to the Super Bowl.
The hilarious thing is, I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah, because all their quarterbacks got hurt, and they had to put Purdy back out there with an arm that was like dangling. I mean, it's if Darnold was there, they would have went to the Super Bowl. They wouldn't have won, but they still would have went.
When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, Emily Adams of the Greenville News is going to join us to talk some Gamecock football. After that, we'll get back to picking division winners and losers. It is all coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Gables.
I'm so tired of the 28-3 stuff. I have bad news for you, Brandon. It's never going to go away, buddy. There are some things I am never going to stop hearing about the Beast Quake run, right? It's never going to happen.
Or the pass interference.
Or the why would you?
Getting voicemail, by the way.
Okay. Let me send her a message.
Going directly to voicemail now.
Okay. I sent her a text and a Twitter message.
They're opening 3 away from home, and this Friday night, they make it 3 out of 4 when they travel to Greer to take on the Yellow Jackets. Hey, it's Rob Brown, the voice of the Burns Rebels, inviting you to join us this Friday night with pregame at 7 and kickoff at 7:30. It's Burns Rebels High School football, powered by your local Ingles Market and Founders Federal Credit Union on the fan.
You did say A65, right?
FM Spartanburg, 97.7 FM Greenville, and free on the.
Listen on the Odyssey app. Search the Fan Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate. Lonzo, we must have ticked somebody off, man, because we're just struggling with the guests today. We had Rashad lined up, and Rashad's too busy for us. We had Emily lined up. Emily's too busy for us. You know what? I'm not going to say it's us.
Yeah, we don't know that they're too busy. And maybe, something came up, because something does come up sometimes, and that's what it is.
What I am going to say is that, Zoe, the guests that we book are very important, very influential, very connected, very involved. Rashad's probably on the phone right now with Frank Reich, telling him how he's going to have to orchestrate this offense with wide receivers missing. And Emily is probably on the phone right now with Dow Loggains trying to fix the run game for the Gamecocks.
Come on, Rashad is in some third world country embroiled in some sort of espionage. That's why he's not here, because he's a spy.
Yeah, but we can't tell people that.
Yeah, well, I didn't say which country.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. We will we'll keep working on. I've sent Emily Adams a message. Hopefully, we'll have her join us here in the next few minutes, and if not, then we will check in maybe with both of those cats on tomorrow's edition of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. In the meantime, you guys are welcome to be a part of the radio broadcast today, and there are multiple ways for you to do that. The phone lines are open at 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663 is the number. You can also text us on the carpros.com text line at 71307. 71307 is the number. If you'd like to come at us in that direction, you're welcome to. You can also shoot us an X Threads tweet at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word, or you can get to everybody on the station at The Fan Upstate. All the different ways to get in touch with the radio broadcast today, should you elect to do so. So, let's talk just a little bit for just a brief moment about those Gamecocks of South Carolina, Lonzo, because obviously there has been a lot of concern about the run game. I was listening yesterday I was listening yesterday to the press conference of Loggains, the offensive coordinator. And I was listening to him talk about the run game just a little bit. And I'm going to tell you, I am kind of concerned because it seemed like another instance of a coach, Zoe, saying a lot of words but delivering no real strategy to it at all, right? They were like, Coach,
you mean like a politician?
Yeah, effectively. And it's pretty remarkable how much college football coaches and politicians have in common, right? Like, I always laugh when I see people talking about college football coaches who end up in the media and in one very high-profile case, politics, after their careers come to a conclusion. And it's like, well, how are these guys, so many of them, so naturally good at this, right? And the answer is very simple. Because being in media, being in politics, and being a coach all have some things that are very much in common with each other, right? You have to have charisma to do all three jobs. You cannot be an uncharismatic politician or charismatic media member or an uncharismatic football coach. Now, the concept of charisma can manifest itself in different ways. Nick Saban's charisma is obviously very different than Shane Beamer's charisma. The second thing is you've got to have remarkable memory and attention to detail to do all three of those jobs. You also have to be able to schmooze people to do these jobs. You've got to be able to have a conversation with just about anybody and have them walk away from you going, wow, that guy is impressive, right? If you're a football coach, you got to do it to recruits. You got to do it to boosters. If you're a politician, you've got to do it to boosters. You've got to do it to PACs, and you got to do it to constituents. And if you're a media member, you've got to do it to potential viewers, listeners, and future bosses. One of the other talents that you've got to have to do all three, I think, is to be able to get on a microphone. And I know I'm setting myself up for all the jokes right now. But you've got to be able to get on a microphone, speak for an extended period of time, and say the bare minimum, right? You can't give away the farm in any given speech. And I kind of got the vibe in listening to Loggains that was going to be the case, right? That is going to be the case. So, I'm listening to Loggains' press conference on fixing the run game, and they're like, all right, what do you do? And Loggains hit us, Zoe, with one of my favorite coaching cliches, which is, well, you know, we got to get better at every position on the field. It takes 11 guys. If you don't have all 11 guys doing their job exactly correct, if you don't have all 11 guys doing their job the right way, it just takes one guy to blow his assignment, and the whole thing comes crumbling down because it only takes one defensive player to make a tackle.
Is this what they teach you at those classes that a coach teaches in college? Teaching people how to speak this way, potential coaches in the future? Because do they pick it all up by osmosis? You've heard so many other people say it,
right? Like you've listened to Lonzo. You've listened to this show once or twice, I believe.
What show?
Yeah, the Rob Brown Show. It airs from 9 to noon every weekday on the Fan Upstate.
Awesome name, by the way. Way to go.
Yeah, I'm a branding expert. So you've listened to the show, and you know that one of my favorite things to do is to call out the overuse of cliches by coaches. Man, I wish I loved anything the way that coaches love to lean on cliches when people ask them tough questions. Well, the thing about it is, any given Saturday, there's all these coaching cliches, and I do think you kind of pick them up just by being in the business, right? Just by doing it. You hear other coaches use all of the cliches as well.
By the way, shout out to Bill Belichick. Whether you like him or not, he don't do that.
I got to give Hoodie credit. You're not wrong. By the way, I don't know if you saw this, and I do. This is genuine. I do want to give Hoodie credit for this. In his Week 1 press conference earlier this week, they were talking about how there's a couple of spots that the Patriots are really thin at on the roster this year. And one of the reporters asked Hoodie in the presser, he's like, hey, Coach, you got a couple of spots you seem kind of thin, like you could use some roster upgrades, and you're carrying a dedicated long snapper on your roster. Like you're carrying a guy who is just the long snapper. Don't you feel like you would be better served to fill one of the other positions on the team that's a little thin before you carry a dedicated long snapper? Hoodie Lonzo went on an uninterrupted, unbroken, non-repetitive 10-minute speech about why having a long snapper on the roster is important and how a good and a bad long snapper can be the difference in a game, and how these guys put years into being and perfecting the craft of long snapping, and how he would not want to go into a game without knowing, if it comes down to a last-second field goal, that the first thing that happens on a field goal, the long snap, is being handled by a seasoned, trained professional. 10 minutes he went on without interruption about why long snappers are an integral part of every team. I wanted to give my guy a standing ovation. When I listened to that entire speech, 10 minutes, I sat there on my couch on YouTube like, holy crap, this is incredible, dude.
Did you come away with a greater appreciation for the long snapping position?
Listen.
Or did you just appreciate the fact that that Belichick's laughing in his head while he's doing this the entire time?
I see. The thing is, I don't know if he was. Bill was deadly serious. Now, Bill's always deadly serious.
Yeah, that reporter's like, I got him on this one.
Bill's always deadly serious. But I genuinely looked at that and was like, Bill just went on. Whether or not he is just giving us crap, Bill just went on for 10 minutes about the importance of a great seasoned professional long snapper. That's incredible. Incredible. All right, so let me finish up this Dale Loggains thought, and we will try to get Emily Adams on the show tomorrow to break down and get a look ahead at this Furman game this Saturday. And yes, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, it's week 1. Shut up. It's all picks tomorrow. It's NFL picks. It's college football picks. We're going to have a ball on the show tomorrow. Anyway.
The question is going to be asked of you.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do it this year.
Okay, all right.
I don't think we're going to do it this year. And I'll give you some reasons why later in the show. But
it's strictly to protect me, and I appreciate it.
I've got some other ideas, and we'll see if they pop into, if I can put them into motion when we get off the show today. Tell you, when we get off the show today, Zoe, I'm going to get us some spare ribs. I want you to know that tonight I am going to do Kansas City style barbecue in honor of your Chiefs playing week 1. I'm going to do a little dry rub Kansas City style BBQ.
I like the dry rub. I don't think I've had dry rub ribs before. I've had it on chicken, but never ribs.
I'm not a big dry rub guy, but the fiance and I discussed, I think one of the things that we're going to try to do, because Thursday's always been date night, and since we pretty much have Thursday NFL football every Thursday, and she knows I'm going to watch it all, we have decided
for work, of course.
Yeah, for work, of course, only. We have decided that we are going to try to. We never follow through with plans, but we're going to try to every Thursday. Learn to make the signature food of the home team of the Thursday night football game.
That's a great idea, and it's also a bonding experience. We just got a new grill. I would love to be able to go out and grill.
You should make yourself some ribs.
Yeah, I'll still be here.
Oh,
so
fair enough. That's true.
I will make it home
No,
in
you
time.
won't. That game doesn't kick off till like 8:30 tonight, man.
By the way, yeah, I will have already eaten by then.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right, I am going to finish this Dow Loggains thought. All right, so Dow got asked, how do we fix it? And the answer we got from him was effectively, well, we got to have all 11 guys doing their job. We just got to get better at all 11 positions on the field. And I'm like, you do understand that doesn't say anything at all, right? Now, that's not to say that there's not some plans behind the scenes that maybe the coaches don't want to give away, because, hey, they got Furman. They got the Dins coming to the house. Shane Beamer, I got to give Shane a lot of credit, because in his Monday press conference, talking about the L to UNC and the prep for Furman, he was like, hey, this is a hell of a football team, this Furman team. He said, I can't say quote because I'm going to miss a word or two, but he said, if you think this is a catch your breath Saturday, those are his words. If you think this is a catch your breath Saturday, you could not be more wrong. This is a hell of a football team. They have lost, one of their last 8 games, and that was a second round playoff game at the FCS level. So my question is, what can South Carolina do to fix the run game? I've only got a couple ideas. I think number one, I think you've got to keep playing with different rotations across the offensive line, right? I think you have to keep playing with different rotations across the offensive line until you hit on one that works. And I think you've got to do it this week. Because starting next week, it's only going to get more difficult, right? So I think like every series has got to be a different combination of 5 different offensive linemen until you find one that is playing well. And I think you start working in the young guys. I think you start putting in some of those freshman recruits, some of those true freshmen, because, hey, if you're gonna struggle, I would rather struggle with the guys who are going to be there long term than struggle with guys who transferred in from Yale and Brown, right? I would rather struggle with the young guys who are going to be asked to do this more frequently in the future as vets than the guys who have already been there and are effectively coming to the end of their season. So, I don't know, man. I got nothing out of either presser. I think you have got yourself in trouble by not building a roster that has more running back depth on it. When people ask, why would you carry 4 or 5 running backs on scholarship, 6 running backs on scholarship, the answer is exactly what's going on in South Carolina right now. That's just not going to work with Dak Joyner as RB1. You better figure something out, and you better figure it out quick. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number 2. Hour number 3, we make our picks for tonight's game. We'll get a couple of more divisional picks in here as well. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate.
Get your daily dose of sports opinions with us. This is the Rob Brown Show on the Fan.
All right, guys. Sorry. Give me 30 seconds. I got to take care of something, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You just want to brag that Rob Brown loves dogs. That's all.
For those of you that wonder what happens during breaks, that's what right there.
And she's done.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I'm heading back now.
Back to the spot. She is she's a great dog, but hilariously, Lonzo, she is afraid of everything except thunderstorms and fireworks, right?
Maybe it's because there's someone that she's around a lot that's really loud. Like thunder? Maybe
maybe.
That could be part of it.
When there is a thunderstorm here, she wants to play. It's hilarious. She's like the opposite of every dog ever. When there's a thunderstorm, she wants to play. But if you close a door too loud, she sprints to the other side of the house. It's ridiculous. Giant outside nature noise, and she's like, "Oh, this sounds like it's a good time to run around and play with the toys." Oh God, Rob put a headset on his head. I have to sprint to another dimension. Anyway, that's Remy. That's Remy Laveau. Yeah, we're talking about you. You animal. You mutt. Remy, named, of course, after my favorite X-Man. Bonus points to any of you nerds that know which X-Man's first name was Remy. I know Lonzo knows.
From the CBS Sports Radio. More than the scores. Real sports talk for real sports fans.
The Rob Brown Show, now 9 to noon, upstate.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are not watching on the stream, you should join us. You should join us because during the break, some of y'all got to meet the puppy. Well, who, by the way, is still on the stream. She's just laid out on the couch behind me now. But my dog, Remy Laveau, made her debut on the show, on the stream, during the break there.
I've watched a lot of shows, sports and otherwise, talk shows, where there's a dog there and they're like docile and laying there. I've never had one of those dogs before.
Oh, dude. Chill dogs are the best dogs. The best dogs. That being said, she's chill right now because she's bored. No other reason. No other reason. She's just bored. Anyway, if you want to join us on the stream, now is a wonderful time to do so, ladies and gentlemen. Facebook.com/thefanupstate, Twitter.com/thefanupstate, or, of course, you can join us on YouTube at The Fan Upstate or Twitch by searching and subscribing to The Rob Brown Show. All right. We just got a couple of minutes left in this segment here, and I don't want to spend too much time anywhere else, but we've got to get to some of these other divisions in the NFL, and we will do it. We got tomorrow to go through it as well. Lonzo, outside of the Chiefs in the AFC West, is there any other division where you feel like the winner is a formality? Is there any other division that you feel like the division winner is just a lock? There's no question. Because I've gone through, I don't feel that way about the East. I feel that way I don't even feel that way about the West. Like, there's something that says the Seahawks might give the 49ers a little bit, but that might be the closest division. I don't have a lock in the North. I don't have a lock in the NFC South. Over in the AFC East is going to be a jumble. The Chiefs are locked in the West. There's no North lock and there's no South lock.
Hold on. We know the West, obviously, but the East is locked down. We already know who's going to win without a doubt.
Josh Allen.
No,
Josh Allen.
No, Josh who will regret doing that commercial, because every time he messes up, they're going to show him backing away, back into the bushes. He's going to replace Homer Simpson. The Jets are winning that easy. They already had a great defense. They already had a lot of the pieces. Now they've got Aaron Rodgers. This is a Tom Brady situation. I'm more afraid of the Jets than any other team in the NFL.
Really?
Yeah. I even saw ESPN. I think it was ESPN starting to talk about. No, maybe it was NFL Network. One of those talking about how the Bills' time in the sun is done. And that, they have faded.
I don't feel that way at all, to be honest with you. I think the Bills are still going to be very good this year. I think the Bills are still going to be one of the better teams in the AFC, and I would not be shocked to find out that this race is going to come down to Week 18 between the Bills and the Jets. I don't feel like the Jets are a lock. I think it is a wide-open race. And by the way, let's not forget the Miami Dolphins, unless Tua gets racked again. The Dolphins were right there.
Or Tyreek decides to go to the marina again. That could be a problem.
No punishment, by the way, for Tyreek.
Yeah, they
going to the marina.
They settled. My dude got some cash for that slap.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming up in the third hour of the show, we will open by talking a little bit more NFL football because, my friends, the season is here. And then, of course, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. Fight Club with the great one. It's all coming up in the next hour, the final hour of the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate.
This is Eter Grossmatos. This is Ekam Ike Kwandi. Hey, it's Miles Sanders of the Carolina Panthers. You're listening to the Fan Upstate.
I do love how daily, at least once, you clear my sinuses with how loud you get in my ears. It's just like instantly. I
like
need a
that
tissue.
I can clear your sinuses with audio.
Dude, you can do a lot with audio. Certain low frequencies can cause you to have an airplane accident. I'm not talking about an airplane having an accident. I'm talking about an accident on the plane.
Yeah.
We
the brown note.
Breath for another Travis Kelce update this morning. The Chiefs tight end.
What was the
testimony you heard in practice?
So my one of my favorite things was they did a study a while back, and there are
he missed a game
certain low frequency tones that are inaudible to you.
Has now lost 15
you don't know that you are hearing them, but they're still resonate enough to tickle the ears inside of your hair or inside of your ears that pick up those sound waves. And so they were doing a study on these waves, and they found that one of the best sources of these low frequency tones was water rushing through old, I think, copper pipes, right? And so these old copper pipes were the type of pipes that were used in like the 17 and 1800s when indoor plumbing was starting to really catch on. And so a lot of the reason that people go into old Victorian houses and report a sense of foreboding or anxiety or whatever is that they're picking up these low frequency tones, and it is triggering their fight or flight response. Hey, look, Lonzo, you made the TV.
So if you want to get what you need for low temperatures, low stress.
By the way, we studied those tones in recording school, and they did the thing where they would play tones to see who could hear them. And me and one other guy were the only ones able to hear the lowest tone.
Yeah.
And it's more. I don't know. After all these years in radio, maybe I couldn't do it now, but it almost just feels like a little bit of pressure. I mean, that's how we were able, and they would know because they would intermittently turn it on and off to see if someone's saying, "Oh yeah, man, I just hear that."
Right. So
but I could just barely feel it.
They found that these tones could produce that sense of foreboding or anxiety, and then they reported that these sounds were very frequently emanating from old houses, and that's why people would get that sense of foreboding in old houses and not in newer ones because of the pipes. And then they started to study like why And their belief, not consensus, but belief, is that our ancestors on the plains, these low tones were very similar to the growls of big cat predators, lions, and tigers, and whatnot. And so they believe it's an evolutionary holdover from when our ancestors would have heard that very low tone before they would have been stalked by massive predators. And it's a leftover trait that we still have.
Especially like a panther. Have you heard a panther like right before? Yeah, it's not.
Detailer in the bundle can help with that.
It's scurry.
If you have ever heard like a mountain lion in the woods, you would understand that.
I have not, and I don't want to either.
Oh, dude.
I do not want to hear a mountain lion in the woods.
I dated a girl many years ago who was a biologist. She was a birdologist. And so...
Well, you mean like what's that,
ornithologist.
Ornithologist, yeah.
So when we were dating, I would frequently go out into the woods with her to help her work. And because it was in a...
So that's what you call it, work.
Lonzo,
okay.
behave.
What?
Behave.
Okay. I'm learning. Every day's a learning experience.
We would go camp in the woods while she did her bird watching stuff. We would go camp in the woods, and there was one night where we never saw it, but we very clearly heard a mountain lion in the woods, probably 20, 30 feet from us. I was prepared to die. I thought we were done.
You should have been prepared to leave. That's what you should have been doing.
No, if that thing's hunting you, you're not getting away from it. We weren't by a car. We had hiked like 3 miles out the woods.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess you hunker down in the tent and hope.
Basically.
Did you have any weapons with you, just in case? Okay. All right.
When Rob camps, unless he's camping on like federal grounds where it's illegally illegal, if I'm going deep into the woods, I'm going strapped. Mama didn't raise no dummy.
Yeah.
I mean, she did, but not in this case. I'm just kidding, Mom. Love you.
I was waiting to see your brother comment, in which case you would not have redacted your statement. Gable's in the first break. Yeah. What did I do?
The Rob Brown Show rolls on, ladies and gentlemen. The third, the final, the best, the money hour of the radio broadcast begins now. Welcome back, friends. I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo on the other side.
Lonzo is a superstar.
There it is. You know, I haven't heard that clip well, you played it earlier in the week. You played it when you came back, and you unleashed a barrage of DJs on us earlier in the week. DJ! There it is. There it is. There it is.
Who's kind of in the news right now? I don't know if we're going to get to it or not. If we don't, I will. If we do, I will mark it off Twitter or X.
Well, now I'm.
No. You didn't know.
I did not know. I mean,
So
and you know what? I'm not going to go look at it.
No, actually, you should, because it's kind of a big deal.
I mean, it sounds like a sporting story. Yeah.
It's about your guy, Big Dave, coming at Dabo.
Oh God.
Maybe Big Dave has a good point. You never know.
What did Big Dave? Dude, I'm not a Big Dave fan. Just tell me.
Look it up. I don't have the exact quote. But he was discussing the NIL thing and taking care of players and stuff. It was a diss. It's everywhere.
Let's see. I don't know, man. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. My dog, Big Dave. Okay, here it is. Big Dave Uyunglele said, "I get it. You're." And used, by the way, the wrong version of the word "your."
Yeah, would you have noticed that if you did? If you
yeah,
liked
100%.
the guy?
I notice that every time.
Okay, all right.
You understand the hardest thing in my life is when somebody uses that incorrectly, but I actually like you, to not say anything.
Yes, I've been blessed with having people like Rob and Chris to work with. So yes, punctuation, grammar, all those things are criticized daily for me.
Not
so, yes.
criticized, assisted.
I know, as Chris would say, I just want you to be right, Lonzo.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. We want you to do it too. Dave said, I get it. You're against the portal and you dislike NIL, but that's you and how you feel. Your obligation is to the athletes and what best fits the success of the program. Exclamation point emojis, exclamation point emojis, exclamation point emojis. All right.
Hey, that's how my car reads it when it reads a text.
No, mine does too. It's so wild.
Yeah,
it's so wild.
So when we first discovered that, my children, and they still do, will send me a bunch of poop emojis just so.
Does your car go poop emoji, poop emoji, poop emoji?
No, it doesn't say.
Emoji.
It's. I have. Mine is Irish, so it's an Irish female, so it's even better.
First off, I'm so glad to hear that because so is mine.
It's emoji, not emoji, according to her. So, I mean,
emoji.
Yes.
Incredible. I'm going to throw a couple of poop emojis at Big Dave here. Not because he said anything wrong. For the record, he's absolutely right.
I was going to say,
right?
I want to see if you disagree with him or
nope,
not. I mean,
he's absolutely right. All right. He's absolutely correct. I'm going to tell you right now, I said on Monday, this is going to be a Clemson subject. It wasn't supposed to be, but here we go. I said on Monday.
You could blame me.
I will.
It's all my fault. And, I want to blame the stream because they just wanted to hear this.
That's fair. Here we go.
Here
we go.
There we go.
I said on Monday.
It wasn't Monday. It was Tuesday.
Yeah. I said on Tuesday. Because the game was on Monday. I said on Tuesday's show that I really do think that the current iteration of the Clemson dynasty is over. I think the current iteration of the Clemson dynasty es no mas. And I said that, and I said on the show Tuesday, it's because of the fact that Dabo Swinney is just going to continue to refuse to recruit in any way that's not a 2014 based recruiting system, right? Like he's not going to portal and he's not going to help with NIL. Now, I will say this, and I found this very interesting, and I want to be abundantly clear about it. Clemson's doing a great job with NIL. I've been there. I've been in their facility. They have something that I thought was exceptionally cool, Lonzo. One of the easiest ways for college students to get some NIL success, one of the easiest ways is the podcast, right? Because, hey, if you're a college football player for a major program and you podcast about things that are going on in and around your program, and you make it entertaining and you make it engaging, your fans are going to listen. And if you can create a situation where your fans are listening, people are going to recognize that. People who have money and would be interested in giving you some of that money in order for you to go, oh, and by the way, I'm the starting running back for the Clemson Tigers, and I think you guys should eat at Joe's or buy your car from Bob's or get your yard work done by Bill or whatever. Clemson itself as a school is actually doing a good job, I think, of providing the foundation, the opportunities for athletes to do some NIL stuff. The problem is, as mentioned, and it has been the popular talking point for a while, and I think it's a fair one, it doesn't really appear that Dabo is all that on board with that. And you don't have to like it, but you do have to understand it. College kids are making their decisions as much based on where they want to play football as where their best opportunity to better their life is. And if you believe that betting your life means stacking stacks, baby, Dabo Swinney's not going to help you out that much, right? And so I said on Tuesday, that Clemson don't got the horses they used to have, right? They used to have the Sammy Watkinses of the world out there wide. They used to have the D-Hops of the world out there wide. They don't have that anymore. They don't have that anymore. They used to have hosses across the O-line. They've still got some big ones and some good ones, but they don't really have that anymore. And a part of the reason that they don't is because they are, number one, and I truly believe this, not embracing the NIL world, which means that if you are a superstar of a recruit, like Lonzo is a superstar, and you think, yeah, if I go play at X, I can make this much money, and if I go play at Clemson, I can make X minus this much money, well, that might be a reason for you to take the plunge and go elsewhere. Number two, by filling in holes in the portal, like Florida State has done, by filling in holes via the portal, you make your team better. And at the end of the day, if there's one thing that is going to bring you better top-level recruits than having good NIL offers out there for you, it's being a great football team. The rich get richer. They do in every world, in everything. The rich get richer. And so if you fill in the holes and build the best possible football team via the portal, you're going to create better teams, and better teams just attract better talent. That's just how this whole thing works, right? So, Dabo's refusal to change, his resistance to change, I think, does indeed hamper this program. The whole concept, the whole belief, at least as I see it, of, we just want to go recruit good kids who want to be here. Well, great. That's awesome. You will have a football team that you can be damn proud of that is also going to be 8-4 and 7-5 every year. You want to know how I know that? Because Randy Shannon did the same thing at Miami before NIL, before the portal. Randy Shannon was down at Miami and did a wonderful job at building a Miami program that left all of the stereotypes in the back seat. Miami had, for I think a 2-year span, fewer players arrested then and a higher team graduation mark than both Florida State and Florida in the Sunshine State. It was a team Miami fans could be very proud of. You know what else that team was? Consistently 8-4 and 75. And do you know what happened to Randy Shannon? He got fired. He was building a team that if you were one of these people that claims, I'm all about quality kids and good grades, and I could, which fine if you are, I'm not judging you, fine if you are, but you have to recognize that you're outside of the norm when it comes to college football, because I have watched a lot of coaches build teams with good kids who really wanted to be there and watched them all fail. All right, you watched them all fail. Yesterday, I was perusing a couple of Clemson message boards, as I am wont to do sometimes, because, hey, sometimes you get some really interesting thoughts maybe you haven't had as a host, and sometimes meltdowns are funny, all right? And somebody posted the question on one of them, what or who is holding this football team back? Let me give you some of the answers, okay? Number one, top answer, most upvotes on this website. Quote, I'm fully convinced it's Dabo. He's basically said the offense wasn't Riley's, it was Clemson's, meaning Riley didn't have nearly the hand as we thought he would. I really do not see how you can look at the offense's body of work for the last 2 years and say we need to hire a guy to make only slight changes. We need a complete overhaul, and Dabo gave us a soft reboot. The second highest voted comment on this Clemson message board, Dabo's nepotism and resistance to change. The response to that, again, all Clemson fans, this is the answer. He's playing by an outdated set of rules where he could put his kids on scholarship and not worry about the talent level of the team. Now people come and go as they please, and this is a talent-deficient team compared to where it was before. There are another couple of answers. Here's one from Oil Can Boyd 426. Same issues as last year. Bad O-line and wide receivers that struggle to get separation. DJU couldn't scramble and got sacked all the time, struggled with accuracy, and we dealt with a lot of drops, rinse and repeat this year. There's a lot of talented wide receiver and O-line that we could have tried to bring in, but Dabo and company will have to adapt, and they refuse to. Slow Sherbert 5222 says it's 100% on Dabo. These mistakes should not be happening by an elite team coached by the highest paid football coach in college. It's fundamentals. We have star talent everywhere. At Remote Active says it's Dabo. His archaic views on the portal and NIL are holding the team back. Also, the play calling. Let's see here. We've got, I'm basically going down the list. At BL Mobley 91 says Dabo, his comments about the transfer portal don't inspire confidence. Now, there are some other answers. At A. Arrington 88 said he blames Tyler Grisham. We had one commenter who said it's about turnovers, we need better ball security, etc. But the overwhelming number of responses to this post were all putting it on Dabo Swinney. We're all saying this is a Dabo issue. This is something that Dabo needs to get better at. It's fixable, but he better change his ways as of right now. So the interesting thing here is Big Dave, a guy that, respectfully, I don't like. All right? I don't. I put him in the same category as Lamar Ball, another guy that I don't like. I think it's sad when you are building a brand to use your kids as a payday. Let the kid go play college football. Let the kid earn his money, not you earn the money off the kid. I think that's sad, and I think it's a big part of the reason that DJ struggled at Clemson to some degree, although I have started to come around and think maybe it wasn't so much that as it was just the offense is anemic at Clemson right now. But I think Big Dave in this case is right. A guy that I don't like, a guy that I'm not a fan of, a guy that I have called out on this station and this show many times. I think it's a problem. And so for him and I to agree on what's happening at Clemson, for him and I to agree about the things going on around Dabo Swinney, I think it's very telling, frankly. I think it says more than you would like it to say at the end of the day. Listen, I think Dabo stood behind DJ Uiagalelei as long as he could. I think Dabo truly wanted the best for DJ Uiagalelei, but at the end of the day, what Dabo's doing is not working. And what Dave is saying is correct here, right? It's just correct at this point. That being said, not a big Dave guy. Never have been, can't be, won't be, never will be. I think the way that he has handled the progression of DJ's career is frankly gross, and I think at some point you need to just go away and let your kid play football to the best of his ability and stop being a distraction. But who the hell am I, right? Let's take a break. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Thursday, and you know what that means. When we come back, it's time for Fight Club with the great one, Lonzo. We'll take you around the world of MMA, boxing, and professional wrestling, and we do it all next on The Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Gables.
Hey, it's Mark Ryan. Join me for
Somebody on the text line, y'all, just said, I'm going to log into Call of Duty and just ask Kyler Murray if he's going to be available this year. That's funny.
Of course, Kyler will respond like, yeah, I'm here, dog.
My defense is impregnable, and I'm ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
All right, time to get into the Fight Club. We haven't done this in a couple weeks. Why? Because I wasn't here. I was on vacation. And when I go on vacation, I do this thing.
Where he vacations?
When I go on
doing yard work.
Well, the main thing I do is I turn the radio off. It's what I do. Because, unlike you guys, or, well, a lot of you guys, I could actually take my work home. And, some people don't like doing that. Some people like, when they're not at work, don't want to be at work. So I turn the radio off and then enjoy the peaceful sounds of a video game that I just played every day for like 10 hours. I did do some yard work too. So while I was gone, there has been some pay-per-views and some premium live events that have gone on. And the biggest one, supposedly the biggest of all time. So, I mean, that's what the numbers are saying. And that's what the people are saying, was AEW at Wembley. And for the first time since AEW has been around, I felt like I got my money's worth.
It was a good show.
And,
it was a good show.
And I hope it continues to be. Now, I think they made a mistake having a pay-per-view the very next week. Because I think that hurts your buys, because it's a little expensive and people don't want to go, yeah, this shelled out $50 this week. I don't want to do 50 again the next week. So I think they need to fix that in the future. But that place was packed. That place was loud, and it had a WrestleMania feel to it, because everything that size is going to be compared to WrestleMania, whether you want it to be or not. And I enjoyed the entire card. I did. And pleasantly surprised that Better Than You, Bebe won the titles in the beginning. And the match at the end, really good. For the main event of the biggest wrestling event of all time, that was a pretty good main event.
It was a great main event, honestly. It had a little bit of everything. You had a couple of spots that were kind of goofy funny. You had some spots that were absolutely brutal in that match. And by the way, Mox going with the full head of skewers was just disturbing.
No, it's just, I mean, that's the second time I've seen it. The first time I saw it on a picture. This time I saw it live while it was happening. I was like, no. And I saw him pull out the skewers, and I told my wife to look away now.
Yeah.
You do not want to see. He's like, why? You do not want to see this.
It was pretty barbaric. But again, I think that, as we've said multiple times, the point of AEW is that it is going to be a little bit more mature. It's going to be a little bit more over the top. It's going to be a little more graphic.
You're talking about mature. I don't think it's mature to stick skewers out of someone's head.
I don't.
Graphic, I think, is more the word.
I think they go hand in hand, right? When I say a video game is a little bit more mature, it can.
You mean for mature audiences, which
right,
means
exactly.
Older people, not for children.
Correct.
Why don't they just say
not for kids?
Not for kids?
Right.
That's what they got to say.
Now, I think
say.
AEW walks. I think AEW does a pretty good job, and I think that show was a highlight of it. I think it does a pretty good job of walking the line, because if you are somebody who is a little more free with what your kids are allowed to see, hear, listen to, experience, then I think AEW gives you enough of the Orange Cassidys and the Luchasauruses of the world to kind of make it fun for a kid, unless you are Christian Cage's kid, of course, then it's awful. But
well, it's okay if both parents are alive.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're not, especially if the dad is no longer around, then you're fair game.
So I think that show was an excellent card. I think they did a great job booking it. There really wasn't anything that I left the match going, I don't understand what the direction here is. And that doesn't make something inherently bad, right? We've had some really good stories that have come out of decisions that I just have not understood at the time. But You're right.
I expect a little more from Stadium Stampede. And I think they were a little more limited because there were actually people in the stadium.
A lot of them.
Yeah, and the ones in the past, if I recall, there haven't been.
Some of them, they've done it both ways. When the first one came up, which was in the COVID year, remember, they did it in TIAA Bank Field where the Jags play.
That's still the best one. I know it's because it's the first one we saw, but still it's the best one because of you could get a little more creative because you didn't have to worry about anybody. Any audience members getting hurt.
I don't disagree. I also think there was probably some level of lack of familiarity with the stadium itself, right? Like when they did these at Daly's Place, for instance, or TIAA, the wrestlers were very familiar with these venues. And for most of the, I'm assuming probably for all of them, that was the first time, actually for all of them, definitively, that was the first time they had wrestled at Wembley. I thought you had enough moments like Saraya winning the women's belt. I'm over Saraya. I think it's probably time for her to move into a manager's role full time. But hey, it's not my company. It's not my booking. I thought the card was good. I thought the matches were good. I thought you had some real highlight moments with both the tag match and then the individual match of MJF and Adam Cole. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the ending of that Adam Cole MJF match, not the match itself, but the post-match interaction between those two, Zoe, had me absolutely bought in. MJF is a wizard. Adam Cole is phenomenal at building that chemistry with the audience. And when both of them were working at the top of that game in that moment, man, it was spectacular. And here's why I love that story. Wrestling is the best when marks like us don't know what's going to happen within a story that we're invested in. I don't know who turns on who, but I know when it happens, it is going to be one of the biggest moments of wrestling any company in the last couple of years. It was great.
Yeah, to the point where there was a Nerf wall thing writing on it, and there's a 3-way tie for last. I'm just telling you, three-way tie for last. Yes. It hasn't been decided yet because of circumstances. So anyway, it was good, but like most things, most great things, the first time something happens, there's always Debbie Downer, a cancer, if you will, someone that has to try to bring down one of the biggest moments in AEW history, and that someone is no longer with the company, and that would be CM Punk.
So, all right, this whole thing is very interesting. The story goes, the accepted belief is that Collision was created by Tony Khan. That's the Saturday night show. Collision was created by Tony Khan effectively to placate CM Punk, right? And the more we have learned, the more we found out that apparently Punk was not happy with the way that AEW's locker room was working. So Khan basically said, all right, we're going to give you Collision to put together this show the way you want it. And on that show at some point, Jungle Boy, a.k.a. Jack Perry, wanted to do a spot, a glass pane spot. He was going to throw somebody through a pane of glass, to which Punk said, no, it's too dangerous. We're not doing that on a random Saturday show, whatever.
Yeah, he did want to use real glass.
Right.
He wanted to use
sugar
glass, yeah.
And so Punk said no. Well, then during the opening match between Hook and Jack Perry, Hook was put through the pane of glass that was the limousine's front window. And that's not the problem. The problem was that Perry then looked into the camera and yelled something, obviously specifically at Punk about, that's real glass, that's real glass. And when he went back into the locker room, Punk walked over, got confrontational. That's where the story breaks down. Some people said that Punk threw the first punch. Some people said it was Perry, whatever. But anyway, CM Punk got canned by AEW. And listen, when he came back, I was optimistic, and I think probably in retrospect, unrealistically so, that CM Punk would have learned his lesson after his most recent suspension and would have calmed down and just utilized this company to be one of the most notorious wrestlers on planet Earth, but instead he got into another confrontation. Tony Khan was involved. Apparently a television monitor got knocked into or on top of him, and he said we had to let CM Punk go from the company, which is it's unfortunate.
See, that brings up a couple questions when you talk about Tony Khan in his statement about letting him go. And I don't have the direct quote in front of me, but basically he said for the first time ever, he was afraid for his well-being. And but he still said that they had to have a meeting to decide if he should be fired. I thought that made him seem a little weak. He should have said, I think he should have come out and said, hey, I was afraid for the first time ever, and I can't have that here, so I decided to let him go. But instead, he said there was a committee that decided.
Well, I think that one of the big things here is I think that Tony Khan, whether you agree with the style or not, is obviously up to you, and it is subjective whether or not it works. But I think TK does kind of want it. I think he wants the wrestlers to feel like they have ownership over the company as much as him. I mean, it's his company, but I think he wants them to feel like they have some level of ownership or stock in it as well. And so I think that is probably where that came from. Now, ultimately, the decision comes down to him, and he could have gone either way. But I think it's got to the point where, obviously, listen, Punk had problems with FTR. He had problems with the Bucks. He had problems with Omega. He had problems with Jack. And I will tell you that there is somebody very close to me that I work with regularly who is exceptionally well connected with All Elite Wrestling behind the scenes, and told me that Jack Perry's kind of a butthole in real life, and gave me multiple interactions and stories he had with this guy, that he is, pardon the millennial term, kind of a Nepo baby, and kind of a jerk. And so the thought is that had
so you're
this
saying
been,
Christian Cage was right.
Yeah, right. The thought is that had this been the first incident for CM Punk, he probably could have survived it with a suspension without pay or, whatever. He probably could have survived this. But because of the fact that this was not even the first backstage, this was not the first backstage fight that Punk has been involved with, at some point, you've got to go, even if you didn't start them, you are the common denominator. Nobody else is involved in multiple incidents like this, and we just can't have it go on, especially when the CEO of the company is having television monitors fall on top of him. That's just not going to float. So, it's a bummer because the dude absolutely was one of the biggest draws in wrestling history. But at the same time, I think no matter how big of a Punk fanboy you are, you had to recognize it was time to go.
It's a shame this happened, but because of this happening, we're going to get something we didn't know we needed. And now we know we need it.
Christian Cage versus everybody's dead dad.
No, we already knew that. That would be Samoa Joe versus MJF.
Oh, let's do this.
Because Joe was in a feud with CM Punk. Now CM Punk is gone. Suddenly, Joe comes out and pushes MJF aside. And then last night on Dynamite, it got heated to the point where in the end, they had to call the doctors out for MJF. There was some verbal fighting, which is good. There's one guy out of all of wrestling who can hang with MJF for sure on the microphone, and that is Samoa Joe. And last night, that was amazing. Those two going back and forth. Hopefully, we're going to get some more mic time between the two because I really loved that. Samoa Joe, there are little cracks here, like the last time Samoa Joe heard Samoa Joe thought he heard an ice cream truck. That's the reason why he came out here. And then Samoa Joe, I don't have the quote in front of me, he said something along the lines of, the last time I came out to an ice cream truck, I was number one on a network that another company's on. So basically Peacock, because he was he was on a show on Peacock that Twisted Metal that did really well, and I haven't watched all of it still. I hope this match is every bit as good as it could be between Joe and MJF. I don't think when it comes down to it that Joe dethrones MJF, but still, when Joe is healthy, he is one of the best wrestlers out there, and also arguably one of the best on the mic of all time. So it was a lot of fun to see last night, and that they've moved on. And if you're going to move on with something, I think this is the way to go. Because there were no, other than Adam Cole, who are the real contenders for MJF's title?
That has been one of the complaints as of late. Is it does not necessarily feel like AEW has done a good job of developing guys to make the top of the card feel like there are multiple threats, and moving Joe to that spot, honestly a spot that Samoa Joe should always been in, does kind of give it that feel that there is a threat now to MJF and that title. So no, I think it was great. I think the way that it was set up at the end of that match was phenomenal. And by the way, we are talking about a different card now because, as you mentioned, there were 2 pay-per-views. I didn't think it was all that bad. For me, it was just a time thing. I would probably, if I was AW, move it back one more week, like I'd do a weekend off in between them next year. All of that being said, I got to tell you, there are very few things over the past 2 weeks that I would go, AEW got this one wrong. I think that Toni Storm's character is wildly compelling for the first time since she got there. I'm a big fan. The breakup of that group is phenomenal. I think just about everything.
She was trending, by the way. I had to mark it off the list. No, she is amazing. This character at first, you're like, yeah, what is she doing? But it's a good character. It really is. The throwing of the shoe, which happened again last night, and she even warned Renee, watch out for the shoe, and still almost got her. Do you know who she's married to?
Toni Storm?
Yes.
I do, but I'm blanking off the top of my head. One of the ass boys?
No, but it's someone in that group. The only guy who would be a relative of mine, if
She's
again,
married to him, really?
He's married to Juice Robinson.
Really?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good for Juice.
Yeah, I mean,
real good
yeah.
for Juice.
If you look at Juice without the beard, he looks like a totally different guy. Not that that's a factor, but yeah. All right, let's move on to the WWE really quick, including shout out to friend of the show Gunther for surpassing Honky Tonk Man as the longest reigning.
I don't know if you follow him, Lonzo, but the
champion.
Honky Tonk Man is he's not good right now. He's not good. He spent the weekend retweeting meme after meme and tweet after tweet about how he's still the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. Honky Tonk Man blew up Twitter to make sure everybody knows that he's still the greatest IC champ. It's hilarious.
All right, so I have a question for you. Are you okay with how WWE is kind of rewriting history to make all the old guys' records go away, so everybody who's going on right now, it's kind of like rebooting a comic book to a degree and making all the recent people surpass other, like Roman Reigns, like what Gunther just did, like the Usos, all surpassing records. So whereas this generation can go, I have seen the guys who are the greatest of all time.
I mean, look,
as far as records go,
records are made to be broken. They cannot stand forever. And I think you constantly, I mean, you talk about the Usos breaking the record. That was years ago. I know it doesn't feel like it, but that was years ago. You think about Roman's reign right now. It's necessary because of the story that they are, I finally think, building towards an end to now. I don't have any issue with it. I understand that we all, like, for me, it's like when they start knocking down Attitude Era guys. I'm like, no, they were the best, because it's always our generation that's the best. But
here's the next thing that needs to go, and this is going to bother you and some other people. Flair's record needs to go. If Cena's going to be the guy to break it, he has to do it soon, because he doesn't have a whole lot of wrestling left in him, and he is back right now. I still think because of the writer's strike, but he's back right now. I think you got to put another title on Cena.
Well, first off, let's start with this. It's professional wrestling. You don't got to do nothing. You can do whatever you want.
If you're in the process of rewriting all these things, I think you do it.
All right, if you're gonna do it, yes, you're right. There's nobody else right now but Cena that can take that spot. Right?
They are billing him, including Michael Cole, as the greatest of all time.
Sure, of course.
And so, if you're going to bill him as that, why not make him that?
Because first off, you're going to bill him as that just to sell the tickets. If you are indeed going to have him back and involved for a little while, which it looks like they are going to. Here's what I will say. Which belt are you putting on him that counts towards that, right? Because I'm not using John Cena to take down Roman Reigns. I swear to you, and I mean this so.
Yeah, they're not going to do that.
If Cena is the one that unseats Roman, I will be done with WWE for multiple years.
You take Seth's. You do that.
But does that count? Are we counting that?
Yes.
Okay.
It's still they will.
But here's the other part. If you're going to take Seth's, when do you pull the trigger? Because Seth right now has what I think could ultimately be a multi-fight phenomenal rivalry with Shinsuke, the anime villain Nakamura.
Which is why you put the belt on Shinsuke. You've already billed that Seth is hurt. Then Cena takes the belt from Shinsuke.
I don't want that. That would feel gross to me. Like, I understand wanting that, but to have Shinsuke work this long, this hard to finally get belted, and then you bring back Super Cena Man to beat him, as somebody who I respect John Cena, I like John Cena, but that's gross.
All right, I gotta throw one more thing in. As far as storytelling goes, right now one of the best stories in all of wrestling is the Von Wagner story, because they showed his picture of his as a kid, about his skull, about brain surgeries and all that kind of stuff. And then what do they have Braun Breaker do? Put the steps on his head to the point where he's being let out on a stretcher with a bunch of towels and blood all over his head and everything. This is a story they started months ago with showing the pictures of him as a little kid. And this is how they pay it off. This is good storytelling. I don't know who brought this. I don't know if it's Shawn Michaels or who, but a way to pay off that story.
From what I understand, Michaels is basically booking NXT almost entire. Well, I mean, with obviously advice, but pretty much by himself at this point. And if that is the case, Shawn Michaels is Booker of the Year right now, because that show is good. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. We come back. We ask what the X is going on, and then we call it a day on the Rob Brown Show with the Fan Upstate.
97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM.
Hey, don't even want to see it.
Did you see what Adam Schefter retweeted from BetGM? Travis Kelce pulling up to Arrowhead tomorrow night, and it's showing Kevin Nash with the cast
in the wheelchair,
and then he pulls off the towel and he gets up. Yeah. Wait. Again, those are two noted adult football guys using the wrestling reference.
On the road to South Carolina.
There's that.
Braves 11-6 in Atlanta.
No.
Paul Goldschmidt, Mason Wynn,
We don't do that. We don't do that around these parts.
hit home runs. St. Louis.
But I saw that out of the corner of my eye, and then I'm like, oh, Schefter did that. Then I saw that it's that MGM that he retweeted.
A day after hitting
This was yesterday.
I'm not saying this because I don't work for BetMGM.
Three runs and 7 hits over 5 innings.
Partner
Strider
is
lasted just
BetMGM.
2 2/3.
But I'm gonna say right now that BetMGM account is
Classic
funny
Rock
on Twitter.
101.1
It's
is your home
good.
for Carolina Panthers play-by-play all season
They are
long.
not only
Download
meme
the Odyssey
heavy,
app,
but whoever
turn on
runs
Fan
it
and listen anywhere
is
on your
quite
phone.
obviously a
Sports Flash
massive
on the Fan
wrestling
Upstate.
fan, because they hit you with a couple of wrestling memes a day.
I'm Taylor Bishotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Pass rusher Nick Bosa struck gold with the 49ers Wednesday, agreeing to a 5-year...
Struck gold with the 49ers. Y'all see what she did there? That's good.
She is a pro. Come on, do the thing.
Do the thing. Do the thing.
Doing the thing.
Somebody just said Charlotte is going to be the one who unseats Ric Flair.
True, but it won't. I mean, it should have the same meaning, but I don't think it will.
Yeah. ESPN just put out their list of preseason prognostications from all of their NFL analysts and coverers. Let's see, there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18.
Thanks for your support, Steven, I think.
There are 28 analysts.
They still have that many people who work there?
5 of 28 have picked the Kansas City Chiefs.
Only 5.
Only 5.
It's hard to repeat, man.
Eagles, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 picked the Eagles.
It's disrespectful, by the way.
1 picked the Cowboys. 1, 2.
How many picked the Jets?
2 picked the Bengals. The Jets, 1, 2, 3, 4 picked the Jets. Any outliers? 1, 2 picked the Ravens. So basically there's, 1 picked the Chargers.
So it sounds like the Eagles is a consensus.
28 people picked to win the Super Bowl.
So if you go by that, the Eagles are your next Super Bowl champion.
I mean, if the consensus comes to pass.
Wherever you are on the Odyssey app, make the Fan Upstate a favorite. Now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter.
All right, it is time to ask Rob, what the X is going on, man? And the first X we have, is Al Pacino.
Al Pacino, one of the greatest actors of our time, is Lonzo, 83 years old today.
He is 83. That's not why he's X.
Oh, okay.
X is kind of a good word when we're talking about Al Pacino because he now has another X. He is divorcing his 29-year-old wife.
Yeah, shocking that those two didn't work out.
Who they just had a baby with.
Yeah.
And now there's a paternity thing. That's going to be. Yeah.
I was all ready to jump on old Al there and call him some gross names, but imagine being with Al Pacino and thinking, I'm going to cheat on Scarface.
Well, I think it's more custody. I think that's why it's coming into play for custody and money. Immediately, whether it's a stereotype or not, you think gold digging when you see a disparaging.
Yeah, she's 60 years younger than him, dude.
She's going to get paid, though.
This isn't a case, like I was laughing the other day because, I don't remember who. Oh, Matt Hardy's wife put up a tweet where she was like, I was in grade school when he wrestled his first whatever match or something. And I'm like, that feels a little weird, but it's only 10, 11, 12 years worth of difference.
Think about it, though. He wrestled when he was like 17.
Yeah, exactly.
They lied about their age and convinced, I believe it was WWE at the time, that they were over 18 and they were only 17.
So that's not all that weird. I mean, it's just weird when you put it in the context. But 60 years of difference, I just don't see. What the hell do you have in common? Anyway, that's enough about Al Pacino's girlfriend.
All right, let's go from Pacino to Pacheco.
Isaiah Pacheco, I'm assuming, is the Pacheco that is trending here. And Isaiah Pacheco trending because a lot of people getting some good parlay. I don't know if this is why he's trending. I am telling you that. A lot of people getting some good parlay odds with Isaiah Pacheco tonight because if Travis Kelce cannot go tonight, Isaiah Pacheco as a red zone back becomes a very good-looking possibility of a play, both in fantasy football and in Vegas.
All right, Kelce has never missed a game due to injury. Does he play tonight or does he not?
I mean, if there is any structural damage, no, because as I pointed out yesterday,
Which they've said there isn't.
If he's going to miss a game, this is the one to miss because it's an NFC matchup. You're not going to lose. I mean, you'll lose a half game of ground, but this isn't giving a full game to the Bills or the Bengals. This is an NFC matchup. If he's going to miss one to get right and get healthy and be ready for the AFC play, this is the one to sit for. So I'm going to say no, but I'm also going to say not a definite no.
He plays tonight. You can hear that game right here on the Fan Upstate starting at 7:30.
Give me your score, Alonzo.
32-28 Chiefs.
Oh, a close one. I like it. I am going to go low scoring without Kelce. I am going to go 27-21 Kansas City because, ladies and gentlemen, the NFL is here. And we'll talk about it on tomorrow's edition of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate later. Yeah!
Sports talk, real sports fans.
The Fan Upstate
Is the sports voice of you, the Upstate fan. Call 844-FAN-PHONE. That's 844-326-3663. The Fan Upstate. Attention taxpayers.
The line has dropped on South Carolina v. Furman, Lonzo. What do you think it is?
Returns, the IRS has green.
Ooh. What was it?
No, I mean, it literally just came out.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that.
Line.
Yeah, I think.
No, I phrased it wrong. You're correct. Yeah. I phrased it right.
I believe I think Mark Ryan posted
you did
something about it. Yeah. It was like 24, wasn't it?
24 on the money.
Yeah. Not that I pay attention to what he says or anything.
I got to tell you, dude.
Until later this evening because I have to again. But, you know.
There's a part of me that kind of wants to jump all over the Paladins at minus 24. There's a part of me that wants to jump all over FU at 24-point dogs. Why do I feel like that line is a little high? Well, the good news is there is a place for us to talk about it, y'all. Tomorrow back here on the show. We will bring that up. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the broadcast of the broadcast because we're going to do it again tomorrow, and you should all be up here. Have a lovely rest of your Thursday. Enjoy the game tonight. I'm going to put some ribs on. I'm going to cook those bad boys all day. Y'all have a lovely day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Thanks and goodbye.